It all started the morning after I finally bought the truck I'd been saving up for, a sleek, obsidian black Ram 2500 that gleamed like knight's armor in my driveway. I parked it right in front of my garage, well within my property line, sipping coffee like I was in a commercial. And then Karen's voice sliced through the peaceful morning like a cat being strangled in mid-howl. "Excuse me," she snapped from the sidewalk. "You're blocking the aesthetic symmetry of the neighborhood." I blinked. Was I hallucinating HOA nonsense before my second cup of coffee? But there she was, Karen, the self-appointed queen of our HOA, standing 3 feet away in a silk robe, gripping a clipboard like it held divine authority. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. She flipped through her pages and read aloud. "Vehicles must not obstruct sightlines from neighboring yards." I glanced at my truck. Not a tire out of place. Not even close to her property. "Karen, it's my property," I said. "That's what you think," she hissed, spinning on her heel and marching off like she'd won something. An hour later, a notice was taped to my door. Violation, oversized vehicle presence. Fine, $75. It was laughable, but the timing made it clear this was personal. I tried calling Greg, the HOA president, but his voicemail was full. Karen, of course, was on the board. The next morning, I received another notice, non-compliant vehicle registration. I checked. Plates? Valid. Insurance? Current. Registration? Clean. Karen was inventing infractions like she was playing HOA Sims. Then I caught her. On camera. Measuring my truck's height with a tape measure like it was some urban Godzilla. I uploaded the footage to our neighborhood Facebook group with the caption, "Is this normal HOA behavior, or is my neighbor secretly a truck-obsessed meter maid?" The comments exploded. Steve wrote, "She reported my minivan as a nuisance last year." Another said, "She told me my lawn gnome was too distracting for pedestrians." Apparently, Karen had crowned herself compliance officer, a title she made up and plastered all over her emails. And now my truck was her new obsession. She said it reflected sunlight too aggressively. She said the exhaust shook the windows of her meditation room 5 houses down. But the tipping point was the 911 call. Karen reported my truck as a suspicious vehicle. The officer who showed up looked bored. "Is this your truck, sir?" "Yes. Parked legally. On my property." He turned to Karen, who stood across the street with binoculars and a notepad. "Ma'am, this is a civil matter, not criminal. But it's visually polluting the landscape." He paused. "You got a permit for being this annoying?" We both laughed. Karen stormed off. I thought it was over. Nope. She started petitions to ban utility vehicles from driveways. I recognized half the emails they were fake. One was literally fluffymiskers74@gmail. Her cat. Then came the letter. Final warning before escalation. Tow threat. For my own driveway. That's when I stopped being polite. Why did she hate my truck so much? What I uncovered made it way more personal. After her 911 stunt flopped, she went stealth. Installed a new security cam on her porch. Pointed directly at my driveway. I waved every morning while warming up the engine. Then neighbors started avoiding me. Greg gave me the cold nod. Cheryl stopped letting her kids play near my lawn. I found out Karen had emailed the HOA accusing me of running a business from my garage. Claimed I was storing hazardous materials. The only dangerous thing in there was a stack of IKEA manuals. Without notifying me, the HOA conducted a surprise inspection. I caught Greg and another board member taking photos of my backyard. On whose authority? Karen's. Greg, she said she had support. She didn't. She lied. Then Shannon, a neighbor, sent me a screenshot of an email Karen missent. It was meant for Cheryl, but she sent it to Charlene, Shannon's real name. Karen wrote, "If we keep piling on violations, he'll move or sell the truck. People like him hate paperwork. People like me? I was born here. Paid taxes. Unlike Karen, I didn't throw wine parties disguised as book clubs. I called a special HOA meeting. Karen didn't show. She sent Doris to read a letter. Vehicles over 18 feet have no place in a family neighborhood. Nobody could prove that 18-foot rule existed. Then came the deliveries. Furniture I didn't order. Garden soil dumped on my lawn. UPS told me my preferences were changed. I traced the IP to karen.d.hoa.board@gmail. Suspiciously specific. She tried bribing the landscapers to overspray my lawn. Mario, the head guy, warned me. Watch your yard. That lady's got vindictive energy. He wasn't wrong. Someone poured sugar in my gas tank a week later. Police had no proof. But everyone had their guesses. The neighborhood took notice. Steve parked his truck in my driveway in solidarity. Shannon started archiving every HOA memo Karen sent. Another neighbor found the HOA bylaws had more holes than Karen's front lattice. That's when I realized it wasn't about my truck. It was about power. Karen used the HOA like her personal fiefdom. And she saw me as a dragon she needed to slay. What she didn't know. I was just getting started. Then one afternoon I saw it. Karen cut through the woods behind our homes, groceries in hand. 5 minutes later, her garage opened on the opposite side of the neighborhood. I watched her do it again the next day. And the next. Turns out, Karen had built a private shortcut. Unpaved. Unauthorized. Illegal. I pulled the HOA maps. That path? Closed years ago due to liability. Karen voted to close it. And now she was using it daily to avoid a 3-minute walk. I documented everything. Video. Photos. She used it 7 times a day. Once while wearing a silk robe and Crocs. Amazon drivers told me lady in the White House said it's a resident-only efficiency access. That's not a thing. Now the best part? My property bordered the trail. While HOA owned, I had easement rights to report misuse. A lawyer confirmed it. Let me get this straight, he said. She wants your truck gone while trespassing daily? Exactly. I filed a report, footage, maps, HOA minutes, delivery driver statements. Greg added it to the next meeting agenda. Karen showed up with her usual swagger. Clipboard in hand. Pink highlighter ready. We'd like to address unauthorized green belt usage, Greg began. Karen blinked. I don't know what you mean. Greg pulled up footage. Audio. Steve hit play on the recording of her claiming the trail was basically mine now. Cheryl raised her hand. Didn't we close that trail because kids got hurt? Motion filed. Gate installed. Lock added. Sign posted. I paid half. Karen stood on her back porch the next morning, groceries in hand, realizing she had to walk 4 blocks like the rest of us. But I wasn't done. I dug through HOA records. Karen had signed off on landscaping contracts as interim operations chair. That position didn't exist. I found more. Pest control, signage repair, all over $1,000. All signed solo. Bylaws required dual sign-off. One contractor. Crescent Green Services. Owner. Derek T. Hawthorne. Karen's cousin. Conflict. Of interest. No reviews. No website. Number forwarded to a voicemail with barking. I printed everything. Shannon and I compiled it. T-Bone Thomas called for a financial audit. Bylaw clause allowed 3 board members to trigger one. Boom. Audit activated. Karen held a meeting in her driveway with flyers titled Beware the Truck Cult Uprising. We kept quiet. Audit results, $14,200 in unapproved spending. $9,800 to her cousin's company. Stress muffins. Ceramic owls. HOA morale supplies. Karen tried to spin it. Streamlined operations. Community harmony. Karen, Thomas replied, you paid your cousin $10,000 for dying begonias. Vote, ban Karen from all HOA positions. Forever. Unanimous. Even Doris raised her hand. Karen's reign was over. But the best was yet to come. The fake fence. The permit fraud. The patio on stolen land. The election scandal. The court case. The Unity walkway. But all of that? Another day. For now, I just park my truck, sip my coffee, and wave at the neighborhood that Karen tried so hard to control. She lost everything. And the truck? Still gleaming in the driveway. Like a trophy.